This is the project today. We're going to replace this gasket. It's old, it's worn out. It's causing some leaks, not at this one, but at other locations. So the first thing is to get rid of the old gasket. The way I do it is I just take a razor blade, and I like to start at the top, and I'm just going to cut it. And what we're going to be replacing with, this is new gasket. Got it from hunterowners.com. And it's made a little differently. This is more like a rubber bead. This is going to be more like a rubber gasket. It's got a square area here. This orange is peel-off tape. So when we actually install it, we're going to peel off the tape. That little T part's going to go into the channel. And then this is the part that will cause create the watertight seal between the window or the frame and the window. Gotten it started here. I cut it. Now this, sometimes it comes off easy, sometimes it doesn't. I'm using just a very small flat-headed screwdriver to get it off the old. And I'm going to tighten up that wing nut just so it holds a little better. I do have a bungee I can use to hold that up as well, so it's out of the way. This one's pulling pretty easy. The first one I did, it pulled pretty easy. The second one, I left a lot of the old black gasket. Okay, so I've got it off. Now I could just go ahead and put the new one on, but I really want to clean this old. Looks like there's some glue, and I do want to get that down to where it's just clean plastic before I put the new gasket in. Okay, I'm going to go ahead. This is just one of those Clorox wipes. I'm going to just use that to kind of get into the channel and get it started as far as trying to get some of that glue off. Once again, I imagine a lot of people would just go ahead and put the new gasket in, but I like getting it down to the original surface before I start. And at the same time, I can clean up the framework as well. So it'll take a while. Putting the gasket in isn't the hard part. The hardest part is just like any of these repair jobs or replacement jobs. The toughest part is just getting back to square one, so you've got a good starting point. Okay, I have gone ahead and cleaned out this channel. And I used a combination. I used the razor blade a little bit right around the edges just to kind of catch the corners. Primarily, I just used a very small flathead screwdriver which fit in there, and just one cloth wipe. And sometimes I would just take sometimes I used the screwdriver by itself, sometimes I used it with this. But I've got it pretty clean now. And once again, my goal was to get it as clean as possible so that when I go to use the gasket, it's attaching to plastic as much as possible. Now what I'll do, I'm not going to attach it just yet. I'm just going to lay it in there. I start at the top, and I'm mainly doing this to measure. And I heard that you had to stretch it around the corners. I have not found that to be true. At least not with this gasket. This gasket just goes in very nicely. This T, the gasket's in the shape of a T, and it just fits down in that channel very nicely. And right now I'm just kind of getting it to where I'm measuring it. And what I'll do is I'm going to cut it just about maybe 3/4 of an inch to 1/2 inch longer than I need. I've done a couple of these already, and I've never had less. I've never run short. I usually have to trim. So 1/2 inch for me right now seems to be about right. Now, like I said, this is just a dry fit. I have not peeled the paper off the sticky yet. I'm about to do that. That'll be the next step. So I've got that pretty much ready to go. Gonna pull that off, let that dry just a little bit longer, probably wipe it down with a paper towel just to make sure that channel is as dry and as clean as possible. Not hard to do, you just kind of get it into a square so that it runs around the channel pretty easily. And just like any project, you want to make it as clean as possible before you actually start the project. All right, that's pretty good. So I'm not going to peel off all the backing. I'm just going to peel off what I need. And I guess I'll use a razor blade to get it started. Okay. So you can see I've just peeled off about 4 inches. And I'm going to start right here. There's the screw, that's the center. So I'm going to start right there. And just work it. Make sure I'm getting the T part into the channel. I can get to it from the side a little bit. And look at it. I'm in a little bit of a harder place to see. So what I can do here, once again using the same screwdriver, if there's a place that doesn't seem like it's in all the way, I can kind of use the screwdriver to make sure that center part of the T is in the channel. So, like I said, you can just eyeball it and see if you've got a place where it seems to be not all the way into the channel. Okay, I'm seeming to be pretty good. I'm around the corner. So coming down, once again, I've got a place here that seems to be sticking out a little bit. And you can pull it out and do it again. But you know, just like any project, you'd like to make sure that you get it the first time as good as possible. You can run your screwdriver around here, just kind of make sure you got it. Same thing here, it seems to be sticking out a little bit. So I'm going to just use the screwdriver to make sure that the post part of the T channel is going in to the channel as far as it can. Okay, that's pretty good now. Like I said, I'm just pulling back the backing paper as I need to. And now I've got a better angle to see it now. I can see it as it goes into the T channel now. Okay, I'm about halfway. So I'm going to stop and just once again make sure I've got the T channel fitting, the T channel of the gasket fitting into the channel on the frame, the window frame. Okay, I can tell I've got a little bit sticking out there. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's some sticking out right there. I'm just going to use the screwdriver and stick that so it goes down into the channel. That was a good example of what it can do sometimes when it doesn't seem to be going in. If you can't see it, you can feel it usually. A place where the T channel is not going in. But all that's pretty good, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and continue the straightaway. Once again, I'm going to use the screwdriver just to make sure that T channel is going in, top and bottom. A little bit of a bulge there. A couple places kind of hard to get to because of the toggles, the window toggles. But get in there. Okay, so gonna go ahead and turn the corner. Again, third corner. Stop about midway up. Check to make sure that it's good. And this is, once again, this is gasket designed for this port from hunterowners.com. Stuff is not cheap. $3.25 a foot. I bought about 21 feet. So $75 roughly, a little more. Okay, coming down the home stretch, as you'd say. Last corner. And now I can pretty much see. I'll leave that last little bit and cut that once I know I'm good. That's all setting up pretty good. Inside, same thing. Corner is a place where it seems to want to jump. I don't recommend stretching it. If stretching it might cause it to jump out of the channel. So I'd say let it make its turn. Okay, so I feel pretty confident about the length I have, so I'm going to cut this pretty much flush. Maybe a little long, just like a haircut. You can always cut it shorter, but you can't make it longer. And I'm going to just wedge that in there. If anything, it'll push it back. Once again, I'm just going to run my screwdriver along, make sure that the channel is getting in. A little hard to get around the toggles, but it's not bad. All right, that is pretty much it. Now, when you bring the window down, you are going to have to reset your toggles because it's thicker. The bead on this is thicker than the old bead, so you're definitely going to need to adjust this. And I recommend going ahead and getting this done as soon as you can. That way you can see how it sets in there with the new gaskets. Once you are going to need to loosen this. Don't force it. Okay, there we are. There we are. And once you got it, just kind of tighten each one down gradually. Don't do all of one at one time. And you can buy new lenses. I believe that's about $45 for one. Once again, through hunterowners.com. That'll be a project for the future. All right, that seems to be good. And what I'm going to do is now loosen it back up, see how it's set, see what footprint it left, so to speak, on the new gasket. Okay, and it looks like it's seated well against the new gasket. So that project is completed with the Hunter 31. There are 7 windows like this, so I've done 3. I've got 4 to go.